Yes?
Who is this?
Who are you trying to reach?
What number is this?
What number are you trying to reach?
I don't know.
Well, I think you have the wrong number.
Do I?
It happens. Take it easy. Hello?
I'm sorry. I guess I dialed the wrong number.
Well, so why'd you dial it again?
To apologize.
You're forgiven. Bye now.
Wait. Don't hang up.
What?
I want to talk to you for a second.
They've got 900 numbers for that. See ya.
Pete, did you ever call any 900 sex line numbers when you were growing up?
I did. I called all of them to hear their sexy, sexy voices because they had the sexy, sexy pictures in all the nudie magazines my dad would buy me. And I would call them and listen to them, and then I would put in random numbers, including the 4 that were the expiration date, and hope that it worked. And it never did except once. I think it did, and I panicked and hung up.
Your dad bought me a nudie magazine once, too.
Did he?
He bought us both a Playboy with Jenny McCarthy in it. I wasn't aware of her anti-vaxxer stance at that time.
Nobody
and I didn't care. This is probably the thing that holds up the least in the entire movie. Because I think, cell phones, you have to put yourself back to when they weren't popular, mass-produced like that. But you have to explain to somebody what a sex line was, because the internet took that away immediately around the time this movie came out.
Oh, yeah.
You know about the internet, right?
Yeah, I heard of it.
So, we're doing Scream today because Scream 7 comes out this week. And we brought back...
Oh, that's why.
And we brought back our special guest, Mark, who we said we'd have back.
Hello there.
Hi, Mark.
Mark, did you watch this movie when it came out?
No.
No? You would have been like 14 or 13?
Yeah, it would have been probably maybe even 10 years later before I saw it.
Wow.
Meow.
I saw it in the theater.
I saw it in the theater 12 times.
That's more than I saw it.
You saw it like 10 times.
I saw it a lot. I saw that movie a lot, Mark.
You know what's the movie I saw the most in the theater? Randomly, sorry.
Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
You would think maybe, but no, it was The Matrix Reloaded.
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
I hope it's not more than twice.
It was, I think, 4 times.
Oh, you haven't gone to a movie 12 times?
Two of them were at the Apple Tree Cheap Show for like $1.50.
I missed the apple tree.
Well, you got to go back to 1996, which we could do if we just had 2 more movies along with Scream.
Scream 2.
No, we can't do it the way he does it. This is why we don't travel a lot. In 1996, we could get out of school and go catch a movie at like $4.50 that was $3.50 when you got the matinee. Mm-hmm. So that's how you see it so many times, is that you're 17 years old, you have a car, you have nothing else to do, and you have $4.
I can't.
Or $8 because I was taking him.
I can't imagine doing that now. Tickets are like $20.
I know.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's how we saw that movie 12 times. This is my favorite movie of all time. This is going to be one of those episodes where Pete says I'm reading too much into things by reading anything into things.
He's looking at his notes right now, Mark. He's reading.
That's what he does every time?
He's reading.
There isn't a movie that exists that I know better or by heart more than this one. I didn't even watch it to prepare for this because I was like, what's the point? I had other things I had to watch for reviews. And I was like, I could stay up 2 hours and watch this movie, but I know every line in this movie.
Well, I'm glad you didn't, because me and Mark were watching it yesterday, and then I was watching it this morning for the credit check.
Well, it was still on it's on Paramount Plus.
I have no comment.
I always watch it on something that isn't Vudu. I always watch the copy I didn't buy because I know he's going to be midway through watching it. To the point where sometimes I have to watch things on Tubi with commercials, and I own the fucking thing I'm watching. That was the Godzilla experience, Godzilla versus Destroya. Because the reason it's my favorite movie, it'll be my favorite movie till the day I die. It's just I'm too old to have something that comes up where I'm like, wow, that was this life-changing experience for me. It's more than any movie that has ever existed. It was made for me. It's about high school seniors who grew up watching the slasher movies of the 80s, and most of them love the slasher movies of the 80s. They're not just talking about me, they are me. I was a high school senior.
That's right.
This movie could have only come out in 1996 because it was 18 years after Halloween. And Halloween's not the first slasher, but it's the one that created the slasher era that would follow, where they became icons with Freddy and Jason on MTV and pop culture icons that we grew up with, which is not the case anymore and never will be the case again, probably. But for us, Zennials, it was. And 18 years later means everybody who's 18 years old or 17 years old watching this grew up the exact same way these kids did. It could only exist in this moment. And the moment is perfect because of the technology change, which is the thing that defines Zennials more than anything, is that we grew up having to learn on calculators and paper and use a typewriter. And then the next year we'll come in and it's like computer applications because everyone's going to have a computer in their house. Very strange because you're like 4 years younger than us.
5?
5 years younger. So you just grew up computers, home computer. Didn't have one until I was in middle school. So in middle school, they started teaching us how to use a computer. And we're like the only generation that had this memories of learning it the old way and then having it the new way. Pete never learned the new way.
My dad stole a computer from his work when I was a kid. Well, he was the boss, so he got to have it. And I got to sit there, and my favorite game was typing in all the animals from my zoo books because that was the games we had back then.
Yeah, they were pretty shitty. But this was written by not a Zennial, but it was written by Kevin Williamson, who was born the last year of the baby boomers. So he's still stuck in kind of the same idea where I was born in 79, so was Pete. And it's the last year of the Gen Xers. But we're not Gen Xers. Technically you are if you just draw the line there, but we're not because Gen X had already been long defined. We had no say in that. And we're not millennials because we're like a year too young to be millennials. So we're this weird pocket. And he was in a weird pocket too, where he's not a baby boomer, but he's not a Gen Xer. And because he's a young writer, he's having to deal with the technology change too, because it's relevant to his work. So he's kind of exactly where we are, where it's like, I'm not defined by either of these generations, and I'm up on this technology because I have to be. Like, we had to be. Because that's just how they were going to teach us moving forward. It was a giant revolution in how teaching was done while we were learning it.
I told you he reads too much into this.
I haven't literally read anything into it
I was
yet.
going to say, he hasn't really. No.
He's got deep thoughts about every aspect of this movie. It is, I know a lot about this movie, but I do have a question.
Yeah.
When the Freddy Krueger janitor was there, that was Wes Craven, right?
It was Wes Craven.
Told you, Mark.
And if you get meta about it, at one point, Dewey says about the sheriff, when Tatum makes fun of him, he's my boss. And she goes, the janitor's your superior. The janitor is literally his superior, the director of the movie, Wes Craven.
That's right. That's fine.
And this whole episode is going to be filled with tidbits like that.
Well, I don't think I read too much into it. But for me, this is the Pulp Fiction of horror, in a way. Because Pulp Fiction changed independent movies forever. All you got after Pulp Fiction was a bunch of knockoffs of people trying to sound like Tarantino. And they could never quite sound like Tarantino. Even Tarantino never quite sounded like Pulp Fiction again, because he shouldn't. He evolved as a director. I like some of his later movies more than I like Pulp Fiction. But it's an important moment. The same way that Wes Craven's New Nightmare couldn't inspire any of the meta horror that came after. That's Sex, Lies, and Videotape, a movie that's super important to the birth of independent film era, but couldn't have the impact that Pulp Fiction did. Because nobody wanted to be Sex, Lies, and Videotape. They wanted to be Pulp Fiction. Nobody wanted to be Wes Craven's New Nightmare. They wanted to be Scream. And we got a ton of bad movies because of it.
I enjoy this movie. I haven't seen it in a very long time. And coming at it again, I got what you're saying 100% because I was like, oh yeah, I was a 17-year-old in high school and trying to throw, because that's what the movie is. Usually we do a synopsis. I don't know if you remember.
We haven't gotten to that yet.
Yeah, because the synopsis is a bunch of kids throw a party and there's a serial killer in a costume on the loose.
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah, and that's it. That's what I did.
What's funny is I'm at an age where I saw the parody
Before.
done in Scary Movie before I saw Scream.
Yeah.
They did a parody and I don't remember Scary Movie very well.
Then we're not going to waste any time on it.
All right then, moving on.
Wes Craven wrote Wes Craven's New Nightmare, which is a meta horror film about people who make horror movies and the idea of the story from the storyteller's perspective. And it wasn't a hit because who can relate to that except people who make horror movies? Kevin Williamson writes Scream 2 years later. Wes Craven directs it after turning it down a bunch of times. And it takes off like a giant mega hit because it's directed at the audience who watches the movies. Because Wes Craven couldn't write Scream. Only a fan could write Scream. And this was Kevin Williamson's first sold screenplay. It was a big deal, big bidding war overnight, made him a big star. Got him Dawson's Creek, R.I.P. Dawson.
He was the guy who did Dawson's too?
He did. I Know What You Did Last Summer. He's been steadily working since. This is his thing, though. This Scream 1 is the thing that even he can't touch. It's a perfect moment in time that can't be recaptured.
It's like trying to make Indiana Jones after Raiders of the Lost Ark.
I love Last Crusade. I think they did get another one right up to that level.
And then just no.
And then just no. Yeah, I think they fumbled a bit on the second one, got it right back in great with the third. It's like Die Hard. Die Hard's a movie you can't do twice, but Die Hard with a Vengeance is fucking great. But Die Hard 2, they fumbled it a bit. And then, no.
I watched that one.
Well, the fourth Die Hard is better than the fourth Indiana Jones.
The fourth Die Hard is better than the fifth Die Hard.
You know why? Because when you got Timothy Olyphant instead of Shia LaBeouf, you're doing the right thing.
And tying Timothy Olyphant to the Scream, guess who's in part 2 of Scream, Mark?
Is it Timothy Olyphant?
It is.
We're not talking about 2 today.
What are we talking? Oh, part 1.
Yeah. So slashers were dead in 1996. And that also helped Scream a lot.
What was the last slasher movie?
Well, is Candyman a slasher movie? We watch it. I don't think so. It gets lumped in with that because it is an iconic character, but it's not a slasher movie. It's a psychological supernatural horror film.
Yeah.
And it's an investigative horror film. It's got a lot of things before I get to slasher because he does slash a couple people up. It's not really what it is. So I guess it would be Child's Play 2 would be the last good one, 1990, maybe 1990, full stop. We got the bad Friday the 13th we just watched, or we will watch in 2 weeks. Jason Goes to Hell. That's dead. We got Halloween 6, Curse of Michael Myers, which is terrible, and I love it, but it's terrible. Wes Craven's A Nightmare, I think, is a great movie, but it flopped.
Yeah, that one's really underappreciated, I think.
That was 93, 94, 95 for all those movies. So those series are dead. We've put our final nail in the coffin of every one of them. Then Scream comes, and it relaunches the whole thing. And because it's the generation of people buying the tickets who watched them all, and it's feeding off of all the things you know about those horror movies and love about those horror movies, but it's also obviously deconstructing them to a point where when it popularizes the genre again and horror's back in fashion, slasher movies are all over theaters the next year, they don't know what to do because it's already taken away all of their tricks.
Oh, the formula's gone because it's been exposed.
Formula's completely been exposed. You can't just make a movie like that. But they take all the wrong lessons. They put all the fresh-faced WB teenagers in them. They try to be funny. They're never funny. They try to be smart characters, but they're always somehow dumber. It doesn't work again. Like Scream 2 works. Scream 4 works. Scream 5 works. Scream 6 works. It works in its own... The more it gets to its own internal logic, the more it works. But the knockoffs, they just didn't work at all.
I don't even remember any of them aside from I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Which is terrible.
Well, yes.
What Scream does that's so brilliant, one of the many things it does that's so brilliant, is that it redefines what slashers are for itself in a way that's kind of future-proof. Because the whole point of the slashers was they went out of style because we saw through the cracks, we saw through the seams, everything's done. It relaunches it in a way where as things change around it, it has more material to work with. Are horror movies changing? Great, I can comment on that. Is society changing? The generation watching it? Great, I can comment on that. Scream 4 is about millennials.
Well, yeah. I got you. What you say it like launched a bunch of other franchises later, but the good ones, like what are the good ones?
There aren't any
So
slasher
there's been
ones that are
none?
good. No, its impact is seen in Cabin in the Woods. Its impact is seen in The Rise of Leslie Vernon, that great movie. There's meta horror movies that are good that aren't franchises. I Know What You Did Last Summer sucks. Urban Legend sucks.
Oh, that's right.
Valentine sucks. The movies that got made because of this movie are terrible.
But the
Scream 2 is
inspiration, yeah, because of Timothy Olyphant.
He's barely in the movie.
Like, nonsense.
So nothing can derail Scream really because everything that changes just gives it more material to work with. Although I've heard that Scream 7, which comes out this week, isn't going to do a lot of meta commentary, which I'm fine with because it's the 7th movie and it's finding more luck now commenting on itself and its own story than it is on other people's stories. Like, what are they supposed to do? Talk about elevated horror? Doesn't seem like it's going to work to me. Like, I don't know how you can satire Robert Eggers movies. It doesn't feel like that's going to be any fun.
What are you talking about? I can imagine the slapstick, scary movie treatment to The Lighthouse or The Vivitch.
Maybe there's a new scary movie coming out. Maybe they'll hit on those.
That would be great. Did you ever see The Lighthouse, Mark?
No.
It's a good one.
It's a good one. We'll get to it at some point.
All right.
But we try to do fun ones. I don't know if you'll like that one. Some people don't like it.
Was it the one with William Dafoe and Robert Pattinson?
Yeah, and I love it, but I can see people not liking it. People love the meta nature of this movie, but I always argue that's not why the movie works. It's why the movie's popular, but the movie itself works because of the technology change, because the idea that someone could be calling you from inside the house wasn't real until Scream. And that's a famous thing from Black Christmas and Someone's Watching You, those movies that came out in the 70s, where the caller's in the house. That's crazy. Well, now there's a line where he says, I'm calling from your front porch, and it could be true. That was terrifying in 1996. I didn't own a cell phone until 2001 after my stepfather died.
That's what I was going to ask because I couldn't remember. You were an early adopter.
No, that was a late adopter.
2000. I didn't have one until I started.
You didn't learn to drive a car until like last week.
Arguably, maybe still not.
Yeah, that's true.
Look, every accident I've been in, the other person got a ticket.
It's like the third
and
week in
that's
a
been
row,
a
so
lot.
it's-
I feel like my skills are being impugned upon.
I think the cops look at you and realize you don't have the money to pay it. So we got to go back in time to December 20th, 1996. And I'll never forget the day because 4 movies were opening that day, and I was more interested in the 3 other ones. That's the state of horror in 1996. The movies were Beavis and Butthead Do America.
Yeah, I saw that one.
One Fine Day.
I saw that one.
Both of which I watched on December 20th. And My Fellow Americans, which I later watched on HBO.
The hell was that?
That was James Garner and Jack Lemmon. Hail to the chief because he's the chief and he needs hailing.
That's where that's from.
That is where that's from.
That's the only part of that movie I remember.
Me too. They ride horses at some point with bad CGI faces. That's what I remember. But I was more interested in all of those movies because horror was so dead. And I was so bummed out by Final Friday and Curse of Michael Myers, where I was just like, it's dead. Why even bother to bring it back? But then the word of mouth was so ridiculous on this movie. I've never seen anything like it. The movie's made for $14 million, which is nothing by modern standards, but at the time, a lot for a slasher movie given the genre completely died. But a lot of that was tied up in the $1 million script they bought. They really believed in this screenplay. The opening weekend opened for less than $6.5 million, and it was declared dead on arrival at the box office. It opened in 4th place and was never in first place at any point during its entire theatrical run, topping out at 3rd place any weekend.
Did you see it the opening day?
No.
Okay.
If I had, don't you think I would have put that in there with the other 2 movies I saw opening day?
I kind of drifted off because I'm pretty sure I saw One Fine Day and
I saw One Fine Day with you.
Yeah, I was going to say we saw both those together.
Yeah, and Beavis and Butthead opened number 1, made $20 million, ended up making $65 million, and it's a whole run. Scream made $100 million, despite opening for less than 6.5. Because a funny thing happened with word of mouth. It went up the next 2 weekends. I want people to think about that, how impossible that is. And it wasn't a thing that happened then either. Word of mouth was so strong on people who walked out of that movie. They went and saw it again, and they brought people, and they told everybody, and it went up the next weekend, and it went up again in week 3. That's unheard of. So it stayed in theaters for 5 months, raking in over $1 million per weekend, even in month 5.
Now that you're saying it, my memories of that movie are of summer, like warm weather, going to see it in shorts and a t-shirt. But I now also remember it being cold and snowy. So that is a long time for a movie to be in a theater.
That's also how you see it 12 times. It stays in theaters for half a year. And it looks better than anything else.
Yeah. I remember when the Titanic was out in theaters for like a year. There was that person that went and saw it like 100 times.
That's crazy. I was one of those people, though, that was like, Pete, we got to go see this movie. And then, like, my friend Tom, we got to go see this movie. And anybody else who would listen to me, we got to go see this movie. So I was one of the people bringing them the new viewers because I was like, I've never seen anything this good before. I don't think it's a perfect movie. I know that there's problems all over. Not all over, but there's problems. And I see them all, and I don't care because it's a movie that was made for me, about me. These people aren't just talking about the things I talked about. They're talking the way I talk about them, where they're just dropping movie references. That's why this podcast exists. And this is what we do. This is how Pete and I interact with each other.
We do the stabby thing like Billy and Stu do.
Yeah.
We're like, yeah, man, now it's my turn. You stab me, bro.
You don't stab them too deep, though, right?
Just the tip. Just the tip, we say.
Just to see if it feels good.
Speaking of the stabbings, though, it's kind of funny when you don't see a movie for a while. I thought the knife was bigger, like more.
Oh.
And then when I saw the knife in the first scene, I'm like, oh, it's just kind of, it's not a knifey knife.
Just like a hunting knife.
Yeah. It just, in my mind, I was thinking it was a bigger knife. And
I had no expectations, but now that you've said that, yes, I also thought it was going to be bigger, but it didn't occur to me that I thought it was going to be bigger.
I guess it's not the size of the knife, but how you use it.
I wonder, like, did you like the movie, Mark? I don't think we even talked about it.
Yeah, we were trying to save all our good talking for today.
Yeah.
But
It's paying
it's
off.
amazing. The movie is fantastic from pillar to post.
Yeah, it's one of those movies I never even ask anybody if they like because I don't want to know anybody who doesn't like it. I can't imagine anybody who doesn't like it.
I met somebody once. We were talking horror, and he's like, "Yeah, I don't care for the Scream
Maybe
franchise."
I couldn't just imagine interacting with somebody who didn't like it. I got here today, and Kitty's like, I watched it with Mark and Pete last night, and I told Pete we're going to watch them all. And I was like, they're all good except for 3, which I don't think is as bad as I make it out to be, but just bad in the context of this franchise. But I was like, yeah, go nuts because they're all fun, which is crazy because none of them are 1. 1 is, I have a tier hierarchy of like the best of the best of the best. I think Jaws is unimpeachable. I think Exorcist is unimpeachable. I think Psycho and Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1 are unimpeachable. This is not in that category. Halloween is unimpeachable. This is just below it, but it's above Black Christmas and A Nightmare on Elm Street and a tier of movies that I think are excellent classics, top tier. It's in a spot with nothing else. There's nothing else that's in the spot with it. It's docked a bit by not innovating anything, but that's what makes it so special. Like, Halloween made a lot of bad and good movies follow. Exorcist is a singular thing. Jaws is redefined everything about summer blockbusters. Scream had some bad movies follow it, and then it made some of its own fun sequels. Its legacy and impact is more just seen in what slashers are today, even, because they're not following the Halloween rules, they're following the Scream rules. Nudity's out.
Yep.
We have to be clever. It's more whodunits than it is icons anymore, except the Terrifier franchise, which is brought back. Oh, they don't even do nudity. Well, they did nudity in the first one. But they didn't do it in the second and third one. They did implied nudity in the third one, where I bet you'll walk out of it and go, I saw boobs, and like you didn't, like you do every time there's a shower scene.
I saw them.
But
I didn't even see part 3, and I saw them. There were definitely boobs a-popping.
that's one of the reasons Terrifier is so impactful. Did you ever see Terrifier movies? One of the reasons they're so impactful is that they're breaking the Scream rules. And they've gone completely the other direction, where it's like we're going back to 80s gore fests with it's okay that everyone's stupid and the dialogue's bad. It's over-the-top gore. And I love them. But I think its success is largely based on being the anti-Scream.
I'll agree, because it's all cyclical. It all comes back around, and here we are. We were waiting for it. We needed a new, like, iconic horror character.
Yes.
And
good thing you brought that up, because one of the things about Scream 1, but the whole series that I've always appreciated, is that Ghostface has never taken it over. Freddy became the face of Nightmare on Elm Street. Jason became the face of Friday the 13th. Leatherface is the face of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Michael Myers is the face of Halloween. Art the Clown's the face of Terrifier. Ghostface isn't the face of Scream. Nobody's rooting for Ghostface in the movies. Even the bad one, nobody's rooting for Ghostface because you care about the characters. This series does something that none of the 80s movies really did, except for like the rare Friday the 13th part 2 or 4 or 6, where I like these people. And I like them in every movie, even the bad one. I like the characters, and I'm rooting for the characters. I like the characters less than 3, but enough of them are good. Like Courtney Cox is still there, Neve Campbell's still there, David Arquette's still there. I'm rooting for them. I remember when Scream 4 came out, it had been 11 years since Scream 3. And I thought, all right, you got to shake it up now. Somebody has to die. And as soon as the movie started, I sat there and I went, I hope they don't kill anybody. Because I was genuinely like, oh, I care about these people. That doesn't happen in slasher movies. And it's what makes this franchise that nobody talks about a little different than the ones that it's satirizing.
it's Final Girl centric, these movies, and they stick around for the sequels.
Right.
Like,
Which is the Halloween movies where Jamie Lee Curtis is in them, you care about Jamie Lee Curtis.
But when she's not, like, you're forced kind of to follow the bag because you want to see the guy in the hockey. I want to see the guy in the hockey mask kill things if Jamie Lee Curtis isn't there.
You've two franchises that aren't this one.
So I better see Jason killing people then.
This movie got away with two movies where Neve Campbell wasn't the star of it. She appears in 5, but she's nowhere near the lead of it, and it got away with it. And it's like, we can still do this. We can still make characters you care about.
Because that was going to be my question. Do kids, because it's important to me because, like you say, it's right around the same time that I was, and it was fun, and it was different, and it was like the new thing. But does it still hold true for kids? Like, you liked it, but I don't know if my kids would. So now maybe I should make them watch it.
You got to have them watch the 80s movies first.
They've seen a lot of them, and they love them all.
Well, once they have their brains fully formed, which if they're your kids till they're like 50 or 60, then you can pop these on and see. So I think the first one has a momentum to it that it's impossible not to get swept up in no matter what.
I appreciate the first one too, which I don't think you see in a lot of slasher movies, is the mystery side of it is really, really well done. It could have been anybody at any point.
I thought it was Dewey. The first time I saw this movie, I thought it was Dewey. I have a lot of reasons I thought it was Dewey, and I want to defend myself because I watch reaction videos and nobody ever thinks it's Dewey. And I'm like, listen,
100%.
They do a scene where they show you that his boss, the sheriff, who's the cop from Nightmare on Elm Street, now he's the sheriff in this town, he's wearing the same shoes Ghostface is. They don't show you Dewey's shoes, but they purposely show you the sheriff's shoes putting out a cigarette butt because it's dress uniform. So you can assume Dewey's wearing the same things without showing them, which is a half step too clever to not be important to me in my mind while I'm watching the movie. The timing of him coming out of his room when the killer's talking to Sidney on the phone is just like the most obvious one. The flashlight moment just makes him look like there's like a side to this guy when he's talking to Gail, he's like, you scared, not scared, are you? And I was like, this fucking guy's getting her away because he's going to kill her. I'm sure until the moment he's not the killer that he's the killer. He mentions that they call him Dewey because it's the town's way of not taking him seriously. And Tatum even clowns him at work in front of fellow officers. He has a motive.
Yep.
Gail even immediately targets him as the dupe she can use for information. Plus, his opportunity is off the charts because he's literally assigned to stick to Sydney the entire movie. And he's at the party without being at the party. There's never been a person set up more for me to believe they're the killer. And then I watch it and nobody ever thinks he's the killer.
100%. But that's everybody. I thought the Fonz was going to be the killer. He got real scary with that scissors. He was really angry at those students and their rascalious ways.
I don't know. Right before that scene, he did tell them all that he loved them and he hopes they're safe.
I mean, that's something seriously wrong, right? Because look at the juxtaposition. I got this guy who's like, go home, we're canceling school. He's like, look at you, little shit. How fucking dare you? He's got that knife and he keeps throwing it in their faces. I'm like, I guess it could be the Fonz. I would like to say, do you remember, Mark, when we were watching it and they showed the boots in the bathroom? And I'm like, I turned to Kitty and I'm like, are those shoes important? Because I one time watched a movie and there were shoes that were important and apparently I missed it.
He's talking about Jojo Rabbit. He didn't see the shoes that they put eye level half a dozen times before they were at eye level when she's hanging there.
I didn't even notice him then. Kitty was just all sad. I'm like, what's wrong with you, lady?
Like, I just imagine he's eating popcorn, Kitty's sobbing next to him, and he's like, oh, Jojo's next to the hanging post.
Anyway, I asked her point blank, are those shoes important? And she said, I don't know.
They're the same shoes that the sheriff is wearing.
She didn't bring it up.
The same shoes that Dewey's wearing.
She didn't bring any of that up.
They do this in 2 also. Cotton Weir's wearing the same shoes as the killer also. They like this shoe trick. One of these times, they're going to show those shoes, and I'm going to be like, this time it's fucking that person. I know it is. Because they've done this now too many times.
But really, it could have been everybody. Billy, Stu, Randy.
Okay, I'm going to take the opposite argument here, even though I just said I thought it was Dewey. There comes a time in this movie where it can't be anybody but Billy. It can't be anybody but Billy. The audience knows it, the characters know it, and Kevin Williamson knows it. So he pulls off what I like to call the Billy Loomis switch, where he kills Billy Loomis on screen.
Yes.
It's the most brilliant moment of this movie because you are so positive that Billy Loomis is the killer at this point that him being taken out of the equation, even if it's fake, throws you into utter chaos where you're not even looking for clues anymore because you're like, wait a minute. It has to be Billy. Now it can't be Billy. And you spend 30 minutes where the movie just ramps up all this action and all this fun and all this chaos. And you're not thinking about anything because at that point it becomes clear it's Stu because Stu goes to get a beer 20 minutes before he's revealed to be the killer. And Tatum's in the garage with the beer.
But you know what?
But you're not thinking about that because you're like, how is it not Billy? I'm still confused at how it's not Billy.
That's fair because when Nev Campbell's in the house at the end and Randy and Stu come running up to the house, each blaming each other, at this point, I know it has to be Stu. I forgot because we watched Randy with the killer behind him on the couch, so I know it's not Randy. But there I am going like, fuck, I don't know who to trust here. Like it could be Randy.
That's why it's so brilliant. It throws the entire thing into utter chaos in your mind where I don't know what's happening anymore. And I was so sure I had it. And you're right. That's what also makes it so great is that you're right. It is Billy. Of course it's Billy. It had to be Billy. From the start, it was fucking Billy. It had to be Billy. And they're like, it's not Billy. And you're like, wait, I don't know what to do now. The movie is so much more clever than any of these movies, even in its own series, ever will be again.
Were there ever 2 killers before this?
I'm sure that there were, but that's not important because what I've always appreciated about the way that they did the 2 killer reveal in this movie, because that is the twist. It's rare enough that it was a twist anyway when it happened. They're spending the first hour and 40 minutes reminding you of all the slasher movies that you know, where it's always one iconic killer. And the whole time, they're like, you're not going to see it coming, but we got 2. So it's planting these seeds in your head through the whole time. Remember that Jason movie? Remember that Freddy movie? Remember that Halloween movie? Remember Prom Night? Remember Terror Train? Remember all these movies where it's one person and you're just looking for the person. It can't enter your head, especially if you're 17 years old watching it, having grown up with them all. It never enters your mind it could be 2. It's a jaw-dropping moment when Stu pulls out that voice changer. Even though I've seen Billy get stabbed, it has to be another person. I still can't think of it because I'm still in chaos from this Billy Loomis thing, which you shouldn't be. Because this movie, it does such a good job, and Skeet Ulrich in particular does such a good job
His name is Skeet.
Having so many strange little quirks and qualities to him that you don't even notice he's throwing out movie references the whole fucking movie. He comes into her bedroom and he talks about The Exorcist. They're about to have sex. He talks about Silence of the Lambs. He's everything about him points to him being the guy, but you're not thinking about that because you're just like, is this guy trustworthy? Is this guy crazy? He seems likable enough, but he seems insane sometimes.
That greasy, lanky hair.
Well, he seems insane. Stu seems insane.
Stu
but
seems
since you're not
fine.
looking for two people, they're both allowed to be insane. So when you see it in retrospect, you go, yeah, that makes complete sense. But it makes complete sense that they're insane. 'Cause they didn't do the thing where somebody's able to keep their plan perfect the whole time without being insane at all. And then suddenly they're insane. No, these guys were fucking insane the whole time.
But Randy is there too. It's not just that you're not looking for two killers. They're all a little bit off. Like Randy gets super intense about things.
In the original script, these were always the killers. But it's clear that Randy is Stu's friend. That's the only reason he's really a part of the group. Where when Stu doesn't stab him immediately on the couch, it's actually an earned moment of there's more scenes of him and Randy together being friends. That entire scene where he lays out the rules in the original script is not a party scene. They're the only people that are in the room.
Oh, okay.
So he hesitates because he doesn't want to kill his friend.
I think that holds up with my theory that Stu really needed, a therapist more than he needed a friend like Billy, because it really was peer pressure that.
I don't think it was peer pressure.
I think it was.
I think Stu's the actual crazy one, because that moment where Billy reveals his motive to Sid, it cuts to Stu and he has no idea what he's talking about. He never asked. He never once asked why they were doing this.
Yeah, because he just
'Cause
goes
he's insane.
along. He goes along. Yes, he needs mental health, caretaking. He doesn't need to have a friend who is clearly a motivated psycho. Yes, he is easily led, and there is something wrong with Stu, but I don't think he would have started killing people without that just hanging out with Billy. I don't think it's him. I think it was peer pressure. He was really upset that the thought that his parents were going to be mad at him. That's a good kid deep down.
Oh, is he?
I think so.
He got to get stabbed to find the good parts.
Right. That was the moment he kind of woke up. It cut through all of the madness, if you will, while it cut through his abdomen.
Well, what this movie does that I don't think any movie, and I don't just mean slasher, I mean any whodunit. Take the Agatha Christie movies, stories, take anything. Knives Out, all those movies. I don't think anything's ever done better at this specific thing. When its reveal happens, the movie gets better. I don't think that's the case with any other movie. The whodunit part's always the fun part. But when they reveal it, the movie gets meaner, funnier, bloodier, crazier. And these two fucking psychopaths, you can't take your eyes off them. They're fascinating. And these little twists keep happening with who's got the gun and where'd Sidney go and everything. It's the best part of this movie to me is after the reveal. And I can't think of any whodunit reveal that's ever been true.
Because now it's going back to the slasher movie heart.
Well, the only movie I think that's ever come close is Scream 4, where when Jill is revealed to be the killer, she's completely out of her fucking mind. But it goes to the problem of how'd she keep it together so long? That's the one issue. But she's out of her fucking mind, trying to make it look like she's almost died. Beating herself up. It's fucking insane. And her motive is my favorite motive in the series, because these millennials, they just want to be famous. And she's like, what am I supposed to do? Go to work? School? And she's like, you don't have to achieve anything anymore. You just have to fucked up shit happen to you. And I'm like, it's a perfect motive. It's a perfect motive. But this one is out of control how good it gets afterwards. The best lines in this movie come afterwards.
That's true.
Fuck you. We already played that game, remember? You lost. It's sick shit. It gets so mean. Your mother was a slut bag whore who flashed your shit all over town like she was Sharon Stone or something.
And unlike 4, when they lose it at the end, you understand, because it seemed like it was barely contained the whole rest of the movie, because all of that behavior that they were displaying, oh yeah, well, of course. Now for whatever reason, they've just gone too far beyond the pale and they can't keep their brains on track anymore. Leashes are off.
Well, now they're not hiding behind the mask anymore. So that means the masks are off in real life too. They don't have to pretend to be anything they're not. As little as they were keeping it together the whole time, and they really weren't in retrospect, but as little as they were, and they're trying, like in the video store, Stu's out there floating the theory of I think it's her dad, man. Why can't they find her pops? Which in retrospect is that's the story they're trying to tell.
I thought it could have been the dad.
But doesn't that fit in with why he doesn't maybe immediately kill Randy? Randy's his friend and he's laying out there hey man, I think it's the dad. By the way, if you think about the movie at all, which I know Pete excuses me of thinking about too much, the reason that Billy Loomis sneaks into Sidney Prescott's house on the second scene is because that's when Stu's abducting the father. You see him in the exact same clothes, wearing the exact same outfit. So he's distracting her while Stu's taking the dad out.
Huh.
Yeah. Okay. Has anyone, I'm sure they have, do we have which Billy or Stu, who killed who?
Yeah, but people are mixed on some of them.
Okay. Because I've never been, like, that's the part I'm bad at in these kinds of movies. I can't keep track.
Billy kills Tatum.
Okay, not Stu.
Stu's in the living room. Billy hasn't showed up to the party yet. Stu has to kill Kenny because Billy's upstairs playing dead.
Yep.
As for who killed Casey Becker, both of them. So my guess actually goes back to a thing in the opening scene. You know, she gets tripped up by the question, who's the killer on Friday the 13th? A moment that I think is brilliant because it separates the casuals from the hardcores. Because the casuals are like, yeah, that's right. And the hardcores are like, not that first one. Because you have to be kind of a sicko to know that that's the case in a moment like that. But the more interesting question to me has always been the third question. The first question was Michael Myers was the answer. The third question, because it was, what door am I at? And as we learn at the end, the answer is probably both.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting thing to be quietly setting up in the background. The thing that you're not thinking about yet is there was no right answer. There was only right answers. They're everywhere.
And you know what? The chair comes flying through the back patio, and she runs out the front, and there's somebody there, and that doesn't even. Maybe because I'm conditioned to teleport Jason
Exactly,
and he can just go wherever. So that's what happened here.
The movie tells you it's working by logic that it's not working by. It tells you it's working by logic of sloppy 80s horror movies, and it's not. It's actually very clever. That's how it's able to dupe you. And in the moment of being 17 and watching that, after having grown up watching all those movies, it's perfect because you're not thinking that the movie could ever do anything clever, ever, because these movies don't do clever things, ever. That was the trick that it had.
I think my absolute favorite part was when they kept saying, like, ooh, check his cellular phone.
Yeah.
You need to check his ooh, it's a cellular clone. Oh, check his
They use clone now. They use clone in the fucking 5. I'm sitting there like, we haven't gotten past this yet. They were cloning cellular telephones.
But it's the cellular that I love. We didn't know what to call them yet, so that's what we ended with.
Some kind of Attack of the Clones.
Yes, it is an attack.
This
of the
predates
clones.
Attack of the Clones. This movie's very old, which
No.
is why how well it holds up is one of those things that it's just as a movie. Forget the references, forget the meta stuff. Just as a movie, it holds up so fucking well.
Agreed. Kitty really liked all the meta stuff since she's been watching more horror of late. Like, she picked up on a lot of it, and you could tell that it was enjoyable.
Well, the mask in the movie is a real world item. They couldn't create anything they liked, and a producer found it just randomly at a house. And it existed, so they had to license it. But they made the cloak. So Fun World has been making money off these ghost face masks for a long time.
Isn't it called, like, Father Death
That's
Mist or
fake
something?
for the movie.
Okay.
It was called
Peanut?
Eyed mask or peanut head mask, something like that. The
Peanut
real
head
name.
mask, okay.
Something peanut eyed, or because of the eyes are all.
I think that should have been the name, not Ghostface. It should have been the Peanut-Eyed Killer.
Well,
that's terrifying.
It sounds like the knockoff suit from Spirit Halloween.
That's kind of what this was. This was like a self-made crazy mask line of like, ooh, spooky masks. And they saw it and they're like, that actually is spooky. Maybe that would just work.
I don't even know if it's, I guess it is. This movie is, I enjoy this movie. What did you think, Mark? Oh, we already told me that it was great, but
Yeah.
what parts were standout? Because Brian's been talking a lot. I want to hear from you.
I was just trying to think of, there's a part early on. Oh, when she punches Gail Weathers in the face.
That I get re-referenced in 2 and 6. In 2, she tries to punch her and she gets stopped, so she bitch slaps her as she walks away with the other hand. And in 6, Sam tries to punch her. She dodges it. She goes, I've been in this game a long time, sweetie. And then Jenna Ortega punches her in the face from the side. Because one thing about Gail, she always reverts back to this character again. It was frustrating for about 4 movies and then became like, all right, this is what it is. Like, she's always going to end back at square one, no matter what. They killed Dewey in 5. And she's like, tearfully like, I'm going to write about a good man that was sheriff here. They get to 6, like, you said you weren't going to write a book about this. You wrote a book about it. And she's like, that's what she's always going to do. She's always going to revert back to being this first movie Gail.
Which works, and it's fun. But that
Like I
reminds
said, for
me.
4 movies, it was annoying. And then I was like, that is like a strong character trait at this point that she cannot grow as a person.
And it works. But what, I can't remember the details. There was a corollary between the David Arquette and Courtney Cox relationship in real life.
He brought it up when they did 5, because that's when he dies in, Dewey. And he goes, well, we met making 1. We were dating making 2. We got engaged making 3. We were having marital troubles by 4. And we were divorced by 5. Maybe I shouldn't come back. Because that was the exact path that happened. And he dies in 5.
Nice.
Is he still alive?
He is. He's going to be in 7.
Okay. Ghost. Oh, this is the ghost battle I've been waiting for, Mark. I've been waiting for a Billy and Stu fight. But
Can I tell you what I want? Since you've been saying this for 3 years now, I want a vortex to open, like at the end of Monster Squad. No, good movie. Like at the end of the Monster Squad, and for all the ghosts to be getting sucked in, but then like Stu Macher's ghost is holding on to like Sydney's daughter's leg. But then David Arquette comes out of the vortex, grabs him by the throat, and gives a thumbs up as they get sucked back into the vortex, just like the Monster Squad.
That would be pretty good. I'm not going to lie. But my new secret theory is that Stu is still alive.
That's been everyone's secret theory since literally 1996.
Well,
And they've almost done it like 3 times.
What do you mean they've almost done it?
He was going to be the secret person in End of 2. The End of 2 is supposed to end with the camera panning over and there being another ghost face watching everything unfold.
Ooh.
And it was going to be Stu Macher. That Stu Macher was helping Roman Bridger in the 3rd one. He's in, I think there was even, they mentioned in 6, like, if you believe he's dead. They've been keeping it going even inside the franchise at this point.
Okay. Well, my theory, Mark, is that he is still alive. And the question I have is he going to be the good guy, the hero, because he's had years and years of therapy? And I think he might be.
This is all ridiculous.
Well, I believe he created a new life where he was solving mysteries with some new friends and his dog, his emotional support dog that keeps him on the sane side. And he has an eating disorder that he developed to keep the voices at bay.
Well, they killed Daphne in the 2nd movie.
Did they?
Yeah.
Was she the beginning girl?
No.
No, that was
Jada Pinkett?
Yeah.
No, they kill her. She's the sorority house girl who's sober driver, and then
I don't even remember. Oh my god, I just remember Timothy Olyphant. He looms so large in every scene of that movie.
yeah, the 3 scenes he's in.
Isn't it Sarah Michelle Gellar?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They kill her in the 2nd one.
I don't remember that. Okay.
She's watching Nosferatu, which is funny because she's Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
That is funny.
That's the one where you're going to see Joshua Jackson in it, and you're going to think that's the Halloween movie you're thinking about. Because he keeps telling me he's in a Halloween movie. He's not.
He's in a Halloween movie.
He's in one scene in Scream 2, and he doesn't get killed because he's just in this one scene in Scream 2. It's weird. Everybody wanted to be in the franchise immediately.
The Buffy joke reminds me that Rose McGowan had a line about being a witch before she was cast in the replacement for in Charmed.
That's right. She did say so. I remember that from the movie. Now, Rose McGowan is the only one I didn't think was the killer. Now that you brought it up, at no point in the movie did I think that she was the bad guy. I thought something about her just said, "No, I'm not a killer. I'm just the friend here."
I didn't think Kenny was the bad guy for the same reason that I knew it was Will Sasso and Clown in a Cornfield.
It was everybody in Clown in the Cornfield.
It was, but
they
you
were
watched
all
Clown in the Cornfield.
I just watched it like last week.
The part where Will Sasso takes off his mask and it pauses. He's like,
We couldn't hear it
The
but
whole
it
time
was
I was
a
thinking-
dramatic reveal, and I blew my mind.
The whole time I was thinking about you guys on the podcast talking about how, well, it's the Will Sasso shaped clown.
When he took that mask off, and he turned and he's like, "Can you believe it's me?" He didn't say that, but his look on his face, and I'm like, "Yeah, no shit, I can believe it's you." I haven't seen one other fat person in this town. You're the fat clown? Oh shit! Oh my god! Oh my god! I couldn't believe it was so unearned that I loved it. I like that movie.
all right, well, yeah, I didn't think it was Kenny either for similar reasons.
He's not even big in this movie.
No, he's just a normal sized person.
Courtney Cox must have loved this role, not only because she's returned to it 6 more times so far, but because she's, Monica Geller on the hit show Friends, and then she gets to come on here and be a giant bitch, and the movie's a hit. So she has like another thing going. And unlike the other people in Friends who, there was no struggle for a lot of these people. They just became stars. Jennifer Aniston her first lead role was Leprechaun, but the next year she's in Friends. So it's not like she had this long uphill climb. And these other people, I'd never seen them in anything, but suddenly they're just stars. Mm-hmm. She was working on Masters of the Universe movie. She's in Bruce Springsteen videos. She's been working for a decade. And then, to get something like this, to be like, getting pigeonholed as this Monica Geller, like, no, I've got a second thing where I'm an iconic character that I can do. That's the anti-thing. And I think the only reason that they had to keep saying he was fat was to give her more material to be a bitch about.
That's right. She was very abrasive in this one. But you like her because she survived. You like all the characters are fun.
I don't know how many horror movies have a cast like this of just amazing characters. Sydney's great. Dale
Dewey?
Gale is great. Dewey's great. Randy's great. Ghostface is great. Billy, the people who don't even survive. Billy, Stu, Casey Becker, Tatum, Kenny, even the principal. They're all memorable. That's a lot of fucking people in a slasher movie that are like, these are great characters.
I like when everyone leaves the party because they strung up the principal on the goalpost.
Yeah,
at the high school.
let's go see it before I take them down.
Well, one of those people, the one who says it, is one of the people he expels.
That's right. I think actually two of them.
yeah.
Well, the one that
I think
says
they're
it,
both-
I think,
oh,
is
yeah,
the one
yeah,
that he's also the one that Dewey said, takes the beer away from. He's like, "Hey, you're underage," and he gives it back, and he's like, "Just kidding, keep watching the driving," and then he almost kills him. Dewey, at one point in this movie, just to throw things into I think he might be the killer. He reads Billy his rights wrong, but it's not like a point of the movie.
I didn't even catch that. I know he was reading the rights. I wasn't listening, though.
I don't know what the actual rights are. I don't know how they're supposed to read them to you. I don't think they even have to be honest with you. Maybe I was arrested once and I said, "Did you ever read me my rights?" He goes, "You watch too many movies." And I'm like, I don't even know that's correct at all. But
Well, it might be.
it might be. That's what I mean. Maybe they should do it at the station. I don't know. Who knows? Who can remember? He's saying to him when he's putting him in handcuffs, "Do you waive your right to remain silent? Do you waive your right to an attorney?" Like, that's what? It seems like you know kind of what you're supposed to say.
Was that part of the joke? Was it on purpose? Maybe?
I don't know.
I just think that's Dewey.
He was just doing it up.
Yeah, maybe.
Deweying it up. He's doing it up.
So slashers were dead in 1996, but it only takes 12 minutes and 46 seconds for them to be brought back because the opening of this movie is better than pretty much any slasher movie outside of like Halloween, the first Halloween. Just alone, the first 12 minutes.
This very much has the feel of like the opening of Raiders of the Lost Ark. You get this 12-minute action scene that doesn't really have anything to do with the rest of the story, but it's the lead-in. It's the lead-in.
It has a lot to do with the
It's
rest
your
of the story.
introduction.
Well, before it becomes a whodunit, the actual doing of it is a masterwork.
The second kill, because the first one was the mom.
I guess so. We don't see that, though.
But we hear about it.
We do. That's one of the things I really like about the movie, actually.
Suppose there's never been a Scream Zero where they do the
prequel.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be awesome if that was part 7? Like it was.
I think there might be some of that to it because some of the characters they've quote unquote brought back, I think they're going to fill in some gaps in some of the stories that didn't make quite as much sense in 3, maybe.
Or they do a Final Destination 5 and like loop it back.
Full circle.
But one of the things I think is clever about this movie is that there's 3 stories going on kind of at the same time, maybe 4. It's setting up its own version of the story is going to be in the universe where it's going to be the father that did it. It's never going to be the father that did it, but that's the story. If they get away with it, that's what you're going to believe. So there's clues everywhere where you're tracking down the father stuff, and he disappeared. He's not where he said he was going to be. His cell phone, his car's there, and everything adds up to it being the father because that's the story that 2 people are telling. There's the story the movie's telling, which is that you're watching a derivative movie of the 80s.
Yes.
And that's not what's happening because the movie's doing something different. Because
you don't know that.
You don't know that. Because there's the real story that's happening, and that's the Billy and Stu. Billy's getting revenge for his maternal abandonment, and Stu's a crazy little lapdog. But you also have the backstory of Sydney's mother. So there's really 4 stories kind of converging where you never know at any time which one's the most important or which one's relevant. And some of it is a lie. Some of it is the Billy and Stu story they're telling about the father, where none of that leads to anything other than they've got him captive. Some of that's also the derivative stuff. That's not even happening because they're telling an original story while using the cover of retelling the same thing you've seen 100 times while pointing out that you've seen it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And then there's the real story, which is tied to the backstory. So there's a lot more going on here than there ever is in these kinds of movies.
Which leads me to 2 thoughts. One is, do any of the other movies have the same level of mystery to it? Have you seen all of them, Mark?
No. I have seen 1 and 2 for sure. I don't remember much of 3, but I think I saw it. haven't seen anything after that.
4's great, 5's great, 6's great. They made some good movies in the series.
But I'm trying to think back now. Do any of them have just that level of, like you said, there's 4 different stories that are all coming to a point in the finale.
No.
Everyone is so open to being the killer. I feel like the later ones do that for a while, but eventually you're kind of running, I don't know. The one that has Jack Quaid in it was something.
I know, but everybody guesses who the people are in that one.
Oh, really?
Every single person I've ever watched react to the movie guesses who it is.
I never saw it coming. All right.
At some point, the movie wants you to know, though, because it's basically redoing the first movie.
Okay.
Was Jack Quaid the psychopath or the good guy Jack Quaid?
Psychopath.
Kind of both.
Well, you like him the whole movie. There was one point, I've said this before on this podcast, at one point, about 7 seconds before that's revealed, I turned to Pete in the theater and I said, "Oh man, I hope he lives." and then he stabs the girl in the gut and it's like, it turns out to be him. And I turned to Pete and I went, "Oh." It was like, I was so sad.
And he's like, "It sucks that it was me." And I'm like,
I was like,
it does.
It does, Jack Quaid. It does. They used the likable Jack Quaid against me, which they did in Companion as well.
All right. So, I guess none of them do keep that. And the second thought was,
They'll try to do it to some level, but they can't.
no, because this is really, like I said, that was what really stood out more than anything was just the mystery of it. I really didn't know which person it could be and just you talking about the Dewey defense for you thinking it was him. There's so much more I didn't even pick up on.
Sometimes still think it's him.
It 100% could have been, but I didn't want it to be. It's like the Jack Quaid. They did that because I really didn't want it to be Dewey, and I was happy when it wasn't.
Once I locked in on that motive when he tells Gail, his name's Dwight, but they call him Dewey because it's the town's way of not taking him seriously. I was like, well, they'll take you seriously now, won't they? I'm still not 100%.
My problem with the Mr. X, other than I think Sydney's father was the one that I was closest to buying in on, is that Billy Loomis is squirrely the entire time.
It has to be him. And the movie knows it. That's why it's such a brilliant twist, the Billy Loomis switch. I've seen movies try this before. It almost never works. It works in this one. It works in this one because you get the full brunt of the chaos that fall out of him not being in the scene anymore, where you're like, it can't be anybody else.
And I don't know what you're talking
Because
about.
it isn't someone else. That's what makes it work so fucking well.
He's the 90s heartthrob.
Do you remember in Valentine where they try to do the sloppy Billy Loomis switch at the end?
No.
Where the Valentine killer's wearing his mask and he comes out of the room and the girl throws him down the stairs, but it's a girl he tied up and put tape over her mouth. And it's like, this is ridiculous because they're trying to absolve that it could be the person that it actually
truly is. Yeah.
And I'm like, this is the sloppiest Billy Loomis switch I've ever seen.
All right. What was I saying before you distracted me with Valentine?
I never know.
All right. Well, the other thing that our previous conversation reminded me of was the beginning kill with Drew Barrymore when her parents are right there on the porch with her bleeding out in front of them. That was horrifying.
I love that scene because it's so real.
Yeah.
Because the mother has just the most offhanded, like, oh, the flowers look nice this year. And I'm like, that's too real. That's too real.
Right? Oh, my God. It was terrible.
Or the fact that they can hear her on the phone.
Oh, God. That was even worse. Being dragged away. Ugh.
The fact that she got so close and he just punched her in the throat so she couldn't scream.
But that really,
Ironically.
that really set the stakes for what this movie was.
No, Drew Barrymore was cast as Sidney Prescott. And she had the idea to take the role of Casey Becker and just get killed in the first 12 minutes.
Was there somebody else planned for Casey?
I don't know. I don't think that they got that far. I think Drew Barrymore was how this was one of the things that got it greenlit.
Okay.
Was they got a biggest star that's in the movie at the time.
Did the studio know that she was going to be offed in the first 10 minutes?
No, they cast her as Sidney Prescott.
Okay.
And she said, I think it's better because if we're going to cast young unknown people, they'll never see it coming that I get killed. And Wes Craven was like, I think it's brilliant.
Because she was a big part of the ad, wasn't she, too?
Oh,
Like
sure.
The
she
idea
was.
that Drew
I
Barrymore...
can't put myself back there and remember.
And I'm trying to remember, too, but I thought that was the
I
idea.
knew Drew Barrymore was in it. It's the only person I knew was in the movie.
And that works, too, not casting a bunch of people that you recognize.
Yeah. Well, they all moved on to things. I mean, I watched Party of Five, so I knew Nev Campbell.
Right.
But
knew
I'd
of
never
her.
seen Skeet Ulrich or Matthew Lillard, Jamie Kennedy, or
Jamie
Rose
Kennedy
McGowan.
Experiment.
I knew the Fonz.
There were two other movies that, because I looked this up last night for some reason, because I'm following my Stu is still alive theory that I'm just creating now, and I'm going to blow the world's minds when I reveal it. But he's only done like two other movies and before this one, and he was the kid in a movie, but I can't remember what it was. I'm like, oh, Serial Mom. He was the son in Serial Mom.
Matthew Lillard?
Yeah, Matthew Lillard. That's what it was.
Well, unlike so many of the movies, this is one of my favorite 80s horror tropes. And Pete knows what I'm going to say. Unlike so many of the movies that it's commenting on, Scream does not have a 1950s style greaser character. Or does it?
Billy kind of is.
No, he's not at all. He doesn't ride a motorcycle. He's kind of a little mama's boy. He's kind of the opposite of that, really.
That's the fun.
He's got greasy hair.
That's my point. This movie does have a 1950s greaser character, an out-of-time one. It has literally the most famous out-of-time 1950s greaser character of all time, the Fonz. And what is he now? In administration.
his hair was still a little bit colored in this movie.
Well, it's been 4 decades since the 50s, and here's an actor that is practically at this time only known for playing the 50s greaser character you saw on TV in the 70s and 80s, and he's a school administrator wearing a suit. I think this movie did this intentionally.
Why?
Because the 50s greaser character was a massive part of those 80s movies, and Kevin Williamson, while taking notes for this, surely noticed it. And then cast the most famous one.
To be the principal.
To be the touchy-feely, loving principal.
Okay, what does that say about what does that say about the 80s movies?
That they're trash.
And that the greaser character
And they had to grow up at some point.
Okay. And he became the man.
He became the principal.
Okay. All right, I can buy that because there was some other movie. Where was it PCU that had Jeremy Piven as the guy and then Old School that had him as the...
Yeah.
Okay. So
Cheese.
what does that mean? Is that...
Locked me in a dumpster.
Is he,
I got out. Cool, man. Isn't Old School one of the movies you tell me you don't like?
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
I think it's one of the movies that he pretends he doesn't like. And I'm like, it's funny as
That
fuck.
movie is so
No.
funny.
You can come with your green hat.
Vince Vaughn's career exists because of Old School.
Oh no, I remember. What I don't like is the ending to that movie. They went to the school Olympics,
Yes.
and they should have failed fucking miserably. Like
The only
that's-
part of that I can't stand is that he can do the impossible Iron Cross on the
yeah.
thing while smoking a cigarette. I'm like, I don't buy it.
that it was good up until that point.
I can buy Will Ferrell doing the flag dancing.
I could buy that, but he should fail because he's not
Gracefully.
good at it.
No, I could buy him doing it.
No. It needs to be.
The car's really loud. Thanks. This movie's hilarious.
Did you forget your birthday again? Oh.
Now, here's my reading too much into the movie that Pete likes. Tatum has 2 beds in her bedroom.
That got brought up last night.
I know why.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know why. I know why I think it is.
Okay. Do you have a theory, Mark?
No.
My theory is that since they all live in big houses, they're all rich, and you just buy extra things.
Okay, that's ridiculous. I think it's because Sydney spends a lot of time there since her mother was murdered a year earlier. And probably before that, because the marriage was bad enough that the mother was cheating on her with every single person that came through town. So I think that the reason that she doesn't know who her mother was is because she spent a lot of time at the Riley's house.
And that makes sense that they would buy her a bed because they're rich and they live in the big house.
Everyone's
they can
rich.
afford, yes.
You know why everyone's rich in these movies?
Because they got paid a lot to be in the movie?
Well, that's true too. But do you know why all these characters are always rich in these movies?
I do not.
Because you got to shoot a movie, and you can't do it in an apartment building. You got to run through a fucking big house. It's always been one of those things where people are like, why are all these houses so gorgeous? Like, how are you going to fucking shoot in a tiny house?
But I just assume it's California. Everyone's rich in California.
That's true too. That's beautiful, beautiful locations. Which, by the way, I don't know if I didn't watch it for this, but I have seen it recently because I watch it a lot. I still maintain this is not a very good looking movie. When I say it's not a perfect movie at all, but there are a couple shots where I'm like, okay, that's a pretty good shot. When Tatum's running away with that design on her ass and the shorts she's wearing in the garage with like a tidal wave, that's a cool looking shot. And when Sydney, you see the backyard of Sydney's house, that's a cool shot. Most of the movie is just really by the numbers, though.
I like when they show Stu's house against it's like getting dark out and it's all twilighty. I'm like, ooh, it's a creepy house. I don't remember though. I don't remember it looking bad.
I don't remember it looking good.
I don't remember it looking anything.
That's my point, is that it doesn't have a real style to it. And I think there's a reason for that. I think it's trying to just look like a basic Halloween movie because that's what it kind of is. So it doesn't have a visual style to tell because it wants you to think it's something else. So it doesn't want to evoke anything new because it's not trying to be new. So when I say it's not a good looking movie, I don't think that's without purpose. I think it's trying to just look like a dismissive 80s slasher movie without the style and substance you expect because it's got this hidden substance. So it doesn't want you thinking about how like, man, this is a really good looking movie. This is like real artistry went into this. It doesn't want you thinking about it.
No, I guess it wouldn't. Because it worked. Again, that works. Everything works in this movie.
Yeah.
I bought in to every aspect. It's just another slasher movie. That's what it looks like.
You know what I did watch this week? It was Bride of Frankenstein. That movie looks better than Scream. There's a tracking shot in Bride of Frankenstein I caught, which I never caught before, where he pans through 3 rooms, complete with the walls there, and just goes through the wall. This is 1935. People weren't even moving cameras yet. And he's got the idea that's like, that's how I want to shoot it. And there's some shots in this movie that are better than anything I see today. And I watch Scream and I go, they couldn't do that because they didn't want you to notice anything because they don't want you thinking about anything.
They want you really lulled into this is the 80s formulaic.
They're hoping you think, this is fun. This is funny. I like that person. And don't really think too hard on there has to be two people.
Okay. But you think Stu is a bad guy?
He's clearly a bad guy. He murders people.
Yeah. Misunderstood. I'm working on it. I'm going to figure this out, Mark. I think he was a good guy and he was misunderstood.
One of my other favorite things about this movie is that half of the third act is scored by the movie Halloween.
Oh, playing in the background?
They're just walking through the house with the Halloween score. There's like 3 scenes in a row that are great.
There was a point where Kitty's like, "Oh, that sounded like Jamie Lee Curtis."
Jamie Lee Curtis kills Stu
was
in this
right.
movie. Jamie Lee Curtis kills Stu in this movie.
What?
That's who's on screen. She's got the knife out. She drops the television right on his face, and Jamie Lee
I
Curtis
didn't
kills
notice
him.
that. Okay. I don't think he's dead, though.
Okay,
He's
we'll
alive. Yeah, we'll see. I'm going to be super disappointed if he is dead and he's just like a flashback or some shit in the 7th movie. It's so bad.
They're just gonna go visit his grave. Just to put it
Oh, another fantastic moment in this movie when you really get into the meta-ness of it. Jamie Kennedy is sitting on the couch watching Jamie Lee Curtis not listen to him to turn around. But he's not saying Lori.
You saying Jamie? Yeah.
His name's Jamie.
Yeah,
So if
I
you were to
caught
do
that.
the same thing, you would say the same thing.
that's funny. Yeah, I thought that was funny too.
Yes. And then you get Kenny and
Now, my one complaint about Scream 5 is that they do the scene again with someone watching the Stab movie version of Randy telling that person. And the person who does it's named Jasmine. So close. We could have had the Russian nesting doll of Jamie's watching Jamie's watching Jamie's, and they didn't do it.
that's too bad. That's one of those things you're going to lose out on and you can't go back and do it right.
No. So I have to now assume that the Randy in Stab is played by a man named Jasmine. And he's watching a movie that's not Halloween starring somebody named Jasmine.
He thinks a lot about these, Mark.
See, I told you you'd say it at some point. So why were the immediate movies that were influenced by Scream mostly duds? I have thought about this. I know you love it when I think about things. Because it did destroy the formula. It did something that made slashers struggle afterwards because it deconstructed them all. So all the tricks were exposed. And they couldn't figure out any new stuff, but they had to make something new quickly because this was going to be the hot thing for a few years in theaters before, the I Know What You Last Summers and the Urban Legends basically killed it off. They were all successful, but they didn't have the returns. I Know What You Last Summer 2 is not successful. Urban Legends 2 is not successful. They got through the one movie people would give them, and then it died. Scream continued to be successful. 4 wasn't really, but it continued to be successful because it kept reinventing itself. Even in 3 when it does it the wrong way, at least it's doing something new. But this was a funny movie that had an elite cast of characters and was really smart, and those are not slasher movie elements. That's not what you even want in a slasher movie. So now they've taken away the thing that you want in your slasher movies. Dumb, big-breasted characters getting killed, and then a cool killer. It's killed all that. You can't have that anymore. So then you can't do what Scream did either because you're not going to be as clever, you're not going to be as funny, and you're not going to have as good of a cast. It's never going to happen again. So they copied all the wrong things and learned all the wrong lessons, and they cast all these attractive people up from WB. They take out the nudity. They try to be self-aware, but they have nothing left to say. They throw in comedy, but it rarely works. But none of that's actually what made Scream work. All those things work in Scream because Scream is, at its core, just a really fun, smart movie that can have funny parts, that can have bloody parts, that can have surprising parts. You can't reverse engineer Scream because Scream was already reverse engineered out of 15 years of movies. That's why everything else failed.
I think Terrifiers did it.
Well, Terrifier deconstructed the deconstruction.
Yes.
And said, no, it's a fucking supernatural clown who murders you and cuts you in half. It's great. And sometimes you need those.
Yes. Yes, you do. All right, I'm trying to think here. There was something about the movie Scream. Did you know that that poster, or that painting, I guess it is now, but I know it as a poster in dorm room walls of The Scream by whatever his name was. If you look at it.
Wes Craven.
Yeah, by Wes Craven. It's not a guy holding his
I
face.
said this before.
It's
I've looked at it.
It's a beagle.
You can't find that at all.
What?
It's
No,
a beagle.
it's-
Dude, I'm
He doesn't know what a beagle looks like.
gonna find it. You guys are
It's more like a
fools.
bugle than a beagle.
No, those you put on your fingers and pretend you're a witch. That's the only way to eat those. Everyone knows that. Do they even make bugles anymore? Do you guys remember the PB Nutters?
No. One of the reasons you can't reverse engineer the casting is because these weren't stars. These weren't WB stars. Like, even Neve Campbell's like the fourth lead on a show that nobody watched on Fox that I watched that was good, but she's not like a celebrity. And those movies are like, great, give me everybody that's on, WB and UPN or CW or whatever it is right now. That's not the same thing. These characters aren't bringing anything that you know. I'd never seen Matthew Lillard before. I'd never seen Skeet Ulrich before. So when I'm watching them, they're not bringing anything to the table for me to be like, I know them from this and I have this feelings about them. Like we talked about with The Last Jurassic. Did you see The Last Jurassic Park movie? I liked it fine. I like it fine like I like all of them fine, except the first one, which is a masterpiece. And they waste 45 minutes building up this Scarlett Johansson backstory, and all I can see is Scarlett Johansson, so why did you bother? I like Scarlett Johansson. I happen to like her. So I already like her. We're good here.
Yeah.
45 minutes of trying to make me feel something for her, I still feel like she's Scarlett Johansson.
And I already bought into her as the Black Widow. You don't need to sell her as a mercenary.
No, the whole thing. But then let's get real quick, the ending of that movie. Mahershala Ali, it makes complete sense for him to sacrifice himself to save those kids. But then he's just alive. And I read that the director didn't want that ending. Mahershala Ali didn't want that ending. The studio made them put that ending on. They wanted him to sacrifice himself. The problem is, Scarlett Johansson's character also has an arc. And that is, she lost her Merc partner. And she's desperate to save everybody. So why doesn't she just save Mahershala Ali? She just stands on the dock and yells, "Come back," and then they find him alive. There's a clear way to marry these things together, where Scarlett Johansson actively saves him, and her mission wins out over his sacrifice. That's a perfect ending. But they never shot that because they didn't want to use it. They wanted him to die, and the studio made them put that last shot in. And I was so annoyed walking out of the theater, like, why didn't they just have her save him?
I haven't seen the end of the movie yet. I think I saw the first monster they had to go catch.
Your brother Dave asked me, he's like, we're going to see the new Jurassic Park. Was it any good? And I was like, Dave, do you like any of the Jurassic Park movies from 2 through 6? And he goes, yeah, I like some of them. I was like, you'll like this one fine. It's exactly how I felt walking out of it. Like, you could tell me that's the second best Jurassic Park movie, and I'll be like, that's fine. You could tell me it's the third worst Jurassic Park movie, I'll be like, that's fine too. Like, it's in that mix.
Yeah, it's funny that they've never... I'm going to go watch it. It's dinosaurs. I want to watch dinosaurs.
I did a ranking of these on the site, and I was surprised how high, I think it was third last, but I was surprised how high at third last Dominion ranked. And my reasoning was, you saw how sad it was when that Brachiosaurus can't get off the island, right? So it made you feel something, which sure as hell beats Fallen Kingdom. And it pretty much beats 3 too. So, like, just that one moment is enough. Like, whatever you think of the movie, and I think the movie's bad, I remember that scene, and I am fucking sad when that scene happens. And it follows the dumbest shit with Chris Pratt, who's doing some physical comedy because he's all knocked out, and he's got to get away from the lava slowly getting at him.
I don't think I saw this one.
The movie's terrible, but that Brachiosaurus scene is so fucking moving. It's legitimately sad.
All right, that makes sense.
Even now that I've said it, you can see his face. He's like, that was an unbelievably good scene.
Yeah.
There's some of them where I feel nothing. Nothing when I walk out of the movie.
Fallen Kingdom.
Which one was Fallen Kingdom?
Oh, 2 hours and 40 minutes of hijinks with the original cast members and the new cast members. And it was terrible. So when I saw the new one, I was like, you know what? This is so much better than that one. I'm glad it exists. Plus, I like Jonathan Bailey, and I like Scarlett Johansson. I like Mahershala Ali. You've given me a reason for the first time since the first movie that people would be going to this place. I enjoy that.
Okay, now look.
That's a guy with 2 hands next to his face.
Those hands are ears. You see the ears, and then that big black thing. His mouth is the dog's like little snout, and there's just 2 eyes. And
Nope, looks like an alien holding his head.
It's a dog. Those are ears.
That's an alien who's home alone and just put aftershave on.
It's a dog in a robe.
Did Kevin McAllister even shave before he put that aftershave on?
No.
Whatever. That's a goddamn beagle if I ever saw one. You're all nuts.
Well, I'm going to give you a lead-in to something I know that you probably didn't even bother preparing. Famous song in this movie, Red Right Hand by Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, which means it's time for the final chapter of your Cage Cave update.
It's funny. You asked me that right before we started programming this or recording this, and damnedest thing. I have no idea where it is or what it was, but I'm going to reconstruct it the best I can. I wrote down, hold on. Oh, first off,
The best I can.
best I can, like
What are you
Keanu
doing?
told us in Chain Reaction.
What are you doing?
All right, give me
the
a
best I can. There was a chain reaction with Keanu Reeves and Rachel Weisz and maybe Morgan Freeman.
It is Morgan. He's the bad guy. Spoiler alert.
Sounds great, doesn't it?
Yeah.
All I remember is them was Keanu Reeves like
They were riding one of those airboats like
Yeah,
in the
he's-
Florida swamps, but in the snow.
yeah,
If you can believe it.
and she yells out, "What are you doing?" And he yells back, "The best I can."
It's awesome,
It's in the
Mark.
trailer, Mark.
It's the best. That's one
That's how
of
they
those movies.
sold the movie. I went and saw it.
It's one of those movies though where they ruin the best part by
Putting it in the trailer.
Yeah, but oh my god, it was so good. Anyway, okay, so Nick Cave and Nick Cage get confused a lot, right, Mark? I don't know.
Oh, he's up on the saga. There's no way he's not.
Okay, because there was one about I think a petting zoo or something that they ran into each other at, but this time, fuck. Okay, so Nick Cave is at a bar like somewhere in Spain, and he's there, and the bartender like turns to a guy at the bar. He's like, "Hey, look, it's Nick Cave." And the guy's like, "Oh my god, Nick Cave! Like, my wife loves all of your stuff. Like, it's great." And he's going on and on. And at some point, Nick Cave realizes he's talking about movies, and it's Nicolas Cage. But then the guy at this point has gotten drunk, and he's starting to talk about his problems with his wife, and all of these, drunken, emotional things. So at that point, Nick Cave's like, "Well, I don't know what to do here. Like, do I just tell him?" But he ended up not. And he wrote the guy a note that said, "Hey," to the guy's wife, saying, "Hey, this is Nick Cage here, saying your husband's not a bad guy. He's pretty cool, this Diego. So cut him some slack." And that was it. So there's a guy named Diego in Spain who thought he had a conversation. I wonder if his marriage was saved. These are the things I ponder. I think that was pretty much it. That was a good job, Mark. I remembered everything about that story.
It's impressive.
I'm like 90% sure the guy's name was Diego too.
Wow.
I know. See?
You get any credit report?
I do. There was
Credit check. I'm sorry. I don't want to.
I don't have a credit report.
I was like,
I once tried to get a loan and they told me I had a 0 credit score. Like I don't exist on any kind of real records.
oh, interesting.
He asked me that day, he's like, "Let me ask you a question." Because Kitty and him went together. He's like, "Who would you trust more to give a loan to? Someone who has never had credit cards or someone who has maxed out a bunch of them and never paid them back?" And I was like, "The person who's never had them." He's like, "That's what they said."
No, what you actually said to me, I think in that same conversation, I said, "Which horse are you going to bet on? The one who always loses or the one you never ever saw race before?"
Yeah, the one I've never seen race before.
No, that was supposed to be me because I don't have any. And you were like, I want to
No,
bet on the
you're
horse
the
that
one
knows
that's-
which way to run.
You're the one that's run a bunch of times and just, like, didn't pay back your loans.
What are you talking about? I didn't take no loans out.
He spent his entire college career just like taking those credit cards they give you on the streets and then being like, "Great, I'm going to sign up for stuff," and then being like, "Can't find me."
They didn't either. I think I got in trouble once. One time I had to borrow money from my mom to pay these people back.
Well, that was the credit check.
Yeah. So the only thing I have in my credit check is that the post-production assistant was somebody named Ryan the Kid. My new thing is I like people who have nicknames with the little air quotes around it in movies. So Ryan was the Kid. There was somebody named like the Wolf and the Gronk. No, that was somebody else. That was a football player. Something like that. They had some weird names. I'm going to start a best of list of people who have nicknames in movie credits.
No, you won't.
Someday I will. Someday. And then I'm going to spend as much time talking about it as he talks about Scream.
I gave you plenty of opportunities to jump in. You sat there today like a log.
Well, you have so much to say about it. It's hard because I'm like, all right, I didn't know any of this. I'm interested to learn all of these things.
That does remind me of something I wanted to ask about because I kind of mentioned it offhandedly at the beginning of the movie, but I don't know if you know this for a fact or not. But I'd heard that the after Scream, the caller ID had big like blew up.
I think that's true. People would buy more of them. Yeah.
That is, yeah, because the technology was a big part of that movie, and that would be terrifying to not have call. When did I get caller ID? I don't even know. Probably after that.
Yeah, it became a whole thing. The whole movie is like for what Psycho was for showers and Jaws was for the ocean. It was like that for cell phones because you never thought about it because they were still new. You were just getting, I didn't get one for years, but people started having them. And of course, this is the most affluent town in the world, so all their kids had them. But like when Billy drops that phone, it's supposed to be a shocking moment. It is in 1996. It holds up less now, but you still get the gist of what they're going for. Because now we're just so used to it. But then it was like, holy shit, he could have called her from the fucking roof of her own house. He's like, how does he get around so quick? Like, he could have been standing right there. He could be standing anywhere. He's already in the closet. One of them is already in the closet before Sydney goes to sleep. She has that moment where she looks at the closet like she hears something when she's walking into the house.
Oh, fuck.
So
yeah.
people are like, how did they get into the house? Whoever it is Billy or Stu. How'd they get in the house? How'd they get in the house? Like, it's already in there. He was in there the whole time.
Yep. That one really hangs together well with everything. And even if is there anything that doesn't hang? Like a moment where a character shouldn't have been where they were or couldn't have been where...
No, because of the two killers, they get away with everything.
Yeah.
But
Drew Barrymore and Rose McGowan hung pretty well.
I see what you did there.
my favorite kill in this movie, I mean, the Tatum one's so iconic, but it's Kenny, because that 30-second delay is such a genius fucking idea, where he sees what's happening 30 seconds ago, and he gets out and he sees the open door, and he's like, oh shit, and he gets his throat cut. It's such a fucking brilliant idea, that 30-second delay. Now, introducing that camera to the proceedings is the one thing the first time I saw it where I thought, maybe they're going to get away with this. Or not get away with it. Maybe they're going to win. Because then it'll be a Watchmen ending where it pans over and the camera's there, and it's like, what did the camera catch? I thought that could have been a perfect ending for the movie, too.
Okay. Nope. I way more passively view things. I just sit there until it's explained to me, and then I ask somebody what I thought about it.
Yeah, that's true. Well, once you guys watch them all, because Kitty said you're going to watch them all, we'll do a Scream ranking episode.
Ooh. Okay.
But I don't know how she's going to see 7. Pete is allegedly going to see 7 with me this week.
That's my plan.
But we already have the next 2 weeks recorded, so we will not be covering Scream 7. Except maybe I'll dig out that portable thing, and we'll do a quick one from your garage, a non-spoiler one from your garage.
And I'm going to spoil it. I'm going to say, Stu's alive, Mark.
People know
This is going to be a
Stu's in this
podcast
movie.
just for you.
Oh, yeah.
Stu's alive. And
People
he's-
know Stu's in this movie, whether he's alive or not.
No, he's alive. That's what I'm going to... I guarantee it. He's alive, and he's the hero. That's going to be the swerve.
That sounds so dumb.
I think Sydney's going to finally break bad, and she's going to snap because, she's had all this horrible stuff happen to her. And then it's going to have to be Stu, the only one who knows, he recognizes this person. Because who else would think it was her? She always is not the bad guy.
You.
But Stu, right? Me and Stu, we know. We remember. Oh my gosh, it's so cool.
How can you watch him play that ending so over the top and ridiculous and hear Quentin Tarantino say he's a bad actor? He's a remarkably good actor.
I thought people like Matthew Lillard.
I think people do.
Most people do.
Okay,
Yeah.
right. And it's because of Scooby-Doo, because of Scream, and I guess just he's a generally overall good guy.
I'm betting Tarantino just doesn't like him because he wouldn't show him his feet.
Yeah, probably true. Well, I mentioned we've already recorded the next couple of weeks, and next week is our 3rd anniversary. Ooh. And I gave Pete a list of movies to choose from. He probably doesn't remember what he picked.
Nope. Not even a little. I know I wanted to watch Phone Booth.
We didn't have access to Phone Booth without me paying $3, and I wasn't going to.
I'll be honest with you. You made out. He's in a phone booth for 2 hours.
That's what I
sounds
kind
good.
of remember.
That sounds good. We got to do that one for the 4th anniversary.
I gotta know.
So we ended up picking a classic film, which, if everybody doesn't know, for our anniversary, we break format and just watch our favorite movies that don't have to be horror related. Last year, we watched Weird Al Yankovic's UHF.
Yeah, let's watch that one again.
This year, we watched and slowly desecrated the memory of Back to the Future. Oh, no. When you hear how off the rails this gets, as we try to make sense of Lorraine and her lust for her son. Look, when I tell you that editing this thing back, I think it's my new favorite thing we've recorded, because we are off the reservation at this point. We are sitting there on a Monday afternoon. We just recorded actually the week after Friday the 13th podcast. We didn't know what we were going to do for the anniversary, so we recorded the Friday the 13th one first. First time we've ever done back-to-back watch-along, so I'm like, it's a long one. It's 2 hours. So I was like, that's probably going to go poorly. It does not go poorly. We are way too horned up on a Monday afternoon, sitting in his living room, watching Leah Thompson, looking like Leah Thompson, and questioning, like, I mean,
I get
it's
why
not your mom yet. It's not your mom yet.
I get why stepmom porn is like the biggest, like, oh, hi stepmom. I'm like, yeah, hi Tia. I don't remember, but oh boy. Now I want to go watch. All right, time to end this. I need to go watch Back to the Future.
It gets out of control in a way that at one point I set myself up for something that I found so funny, but I didn't even know what I was doing. I found it in the moment, and then I almost couldn't recover from it. I had so much fun recording this watch along, and it made me wonder, should we just not do horror movies? Because talking about Back to the Future, talking about the Eric Stoltz cut of this movie and what would be different in it is one of the great joys I've had in my life. And you can hear that next week for our 3rd-year anniversary. I think we picked the right movie in the long run. And it was one of those things where there was down to like 2 or 3 movies, and I thought, let's just do this one because I know that there's enough material here that we won't get lost in it. And oh my God, there was too much. There was too much material.
I don't know if you've seen Back to the Future recently, but I forgot how good Leah Thompson looks in that movie. Yeah. It was unexpected. I've seen that movie a million times. I don't remember it. It's something about, I guess, sitting in a room with Bryan watching movies in the dark all day together.
I always say that you don't have to watch the movie with the watch-alongs to enjoy it. I think that's true. I think it's probably true with this one too. But there are some moments in this one where I think you're going to want to watch the movie because the comments we're making on the scenes are more scene specific for a time. And then we just forget what's happening in the movie because Leah Thompson leaves the movie for a long time. And we just start talking about other stuff. And like the climax of Back to the Future, one of the greatest movies ever made. Another one that I think is one of those perfect movies. I enjoyed this fucking thing so much. And I don't know, like what I want to do for the 4th anniversary is just do this movie again. Because I think there's more to do.
The problem with Back to the Future was Leah Thompson would leave the scenes.
Yes.
Whereas in Scream 2, Timothy Olyphant is all over the place.
He's like 3 scenes in the movie.
all the time. And that works.
Well, no, he's in a bunch of them. He's got the ghost face mask on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's where he is.
Stop doing spoilers for everybody.
Every time Pete closes his eyes, he sees Timothy Olyphant. So
I do. I see him running around in each scene, and then I see Stu in the background getting mental health help.
Well, we got Scream 7 coming up. It's one of those franchises where almost every movie's good. It's second only to Evil Dead, where I think none of the Evil Dead movies are less than great. And we'll see. That's going to be tested. There's 2 more Evil Dead movies coming the next couple of years. So
Evil Dead did successfully make a movie in an apartment building.
It did.
That's right.
But it had the whole building to run through.
But they didn't get very far very often. Like that elevator really seemed to trap them.
They got to the parking garage.
Yeah.
Didn't they go back? Oh, yeah, at the end. They went down there. That's as far as they made it, the parking garage.
I mean, you could have gone with the original movie. It did the whole thing in a cabin. But that cabin is unnaturally big when they need it to be.
I like it.
You
know
they're
what?
running through like wall after wall after wall, and I see the cabin from the outside. I don't know where this cabin's going.
It might have been the room of requirement from Harry Potter,
Yeah,
where
maybe.
it's as big as you need it to be.
If I knew what that was, I'd agree. That might be what it is.
It's a room that's whatever you need it to
No,
be.
I played the game.
I never played the game. I want to, though, but I don't want to give that J.K. Rowling any of my monies.
I knew what I was doing, but I still wanted to play it. And
I
it was
hear it's
fun. It
good.
was actually fun. Even though I don't like Harry Potter, I had fun playing the entire game, like 40 hours of that game, and I have no idea anything about Harry Potter. But it was fun.
Avada Kedavra.
Good job, Pete.
Dolores Umbridge.
Ooh, she's the worst. I hate her so much.
Everybody hates her more than the genocidal.
Beatrice.
Because she's
Bellatrix.
Ooh, Lestrange.
All I know is Hermione.
I'm a serious black guy myself.
What movie did you fall in love with Hermione, Pete? I'm going to tell you the movie you started talking about Hermione to me.
Whichever one, it would be legal to like her.
That's like Deathly Hallows Part 2.
It's never legal for you to like her. No, he was telling me shit from like the Philosopher's Stone. He's like,
oh, geez.
the Sorcerer's
That's really-
Stone, I think, in America.
I think
He's like, I'll watch her career with great interest.
I think the moment for people of the right generation is probably in the third movie, which he punches Draco in the face.
I stole that from a friend of mine who said that about Dakota Fanning.
What?
In the movie where she's like,
Please not Man on Fire.
no, close.
No.
Do you remember Hide and Seek? she might be a year or two after that.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's like, I don't know. I think that she's going to grow up to be real hot. And I'm like, why do you think that? She's like, all I'm saying is I'm going to watch her career with great interest. And I was like,
That's messed up, man.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess right when she punched him, Mark, that was the moment I'm going to watch her career with great interest.
Elle Fanning was really good in Predator Badlands.
we just talked about that upstairs. They just watched it. You watched it too?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think
Not
she's
with them, but-
so great in that movie.
I agree. I don't think I've ever seen her in anything. I had to look up who it was afterwards because I'm like, she was fucking amazing.
I don't think I've ever seen her in anything either. But no, she's tremendous in that movie.
I did see Dakota Fanning has some series on Peacock. I'm thinking.
I know one person who'll be watching.
She's an adult now. I don't know.
That's true.
I'm really curious who this was. That's right. You'll have to tell
It's the
me
same
later.
person who once said, I love so much Michael Jackson music, even if he did it.
Oh my gosh.
Like, can't he just have a few?
Oh my gosh. I mean, he did more than Jeffrey Epstein for us. And
Oh no. All right, this is fascinating that there's somebody who exists in the world like this.
He used to live next door to him.
it did just
boy.
remind me that I seen an interview with Elle and Dakota Fanning, and they
Was
talked
it about this guy?
No, it wasn't. But it was about how Elle Fanning has a huge crush on Jack Black.
Well, who doesn't have a huge crush on him?
Are you sure that they weren't just somewhere together at one point and she was crushed by him?
You know what? It's possible I misunderstood.
That's why she had no legs at the beginning of that movie.
Brother Dave said he's about to start watching the Anaconda movie with Jack Black. He's like, well, is Jack Black really a good actor? And I had to explain to him that
I got
that there's two different types of Jack Black.
I
Beard.
got desperately ill for 2 weeks right at Christmas time. Like to the point where I didn't even have Christmas for like 4 days after Christmas because I just couldn't even see anything or open my eyes. And I was so happy it happened because I didn't have to go see Anaconda. It's the only time the website shut down in 3 years. Over 3 years. I couldn't do anything. Nothing I could do.
I was typing up my reports about movies I saw. He wouldn't air any of them.
Got an email from him every day. Pretty
them
good.
up on
Pretty
a
good.
typewriter?
Pretty good. Pretty
It
good.
was.
Pretty good.
It wasn't a typewriter. It was one of those.
Yeah, we learned on typewriters before we had computer applications.
No, but I was typing them up on those that keypad that you put on the ground and dance on to make music.
From Big,
Yeah.
the movie we discussed last week or next week or the week after. Another one of those 1980s where it said something about nobody dies in Big. I said, except that child's innocence when he's raped by
Yes.
Elizabeth.
Movies would do
Elizabeth
that,
Perkins.
and it was weird.
Yeah, this was another one of those. Probably because Back to the Future, mom's trying to fuck him.
I mean, also imagine the standard you have set for yourself that you nailed that shit. And then, now you got to grow up with like 13-year-old girls and like,
Like gross.
Well, I know somebody who would watch their career with great interest.
With great interest, you say.
That's a line from Star Wars. She was like, he's mixing two creepy things together. Because he says that to the little boy.
well, from his perspective, it's okay.
Well, yeah, it's okay from everyone's perspective who's committing the crime. They're like, well, it seems all right to me. All right.
Can you believe that in that universe, a senator turned out to be evil?
That's the most unbelievable part of Star Wars.
It's a good thing it was a long time
Yeah.
ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah. Thank God our politicians are all great people who work for the people.
Yeah.
As you're supposed to. We don't have a senator who's going to become a Palpatine. Well, luckily, we don't have anyone named Palpatine. I guess we're safe.
You're right.
Do you think they'd have a hard time getting elected? Or do you think in this country they would have an easier time getting elected?
Who? Darth Vader?
A Senator Palpatine. A senator named Palpatine.
I think 100% he would be elected in this fucking country.
Me too.
Oh.
All right. On that happy note, next week, join us as Lorraine tries to fuck Marty McFly. And we cannot get past it to the point of absurdity, I would say, would be a good way to describe how this watch along ends up.
There's an alternate version where he had to go back a decade later to sleep with his mom to make himself.
if you think we don't get into alternate versions of Back to the Future when trying to figure out how it's okay to fuck your mom when she looks that good, you are not prepared for the episode next week.
I think he goes back in time even farther and fucks her mom, which is his grandma. So that's his daughter mom. So then he has sex with her, and then he becomes his son grandpa, his own son grandpa dad, son grandpa dad, grandpa dad son.
The podcast is better than that next week. We'll see you for our 3rd year anniversary. Mark, thanks for joining us.
No problem.
Everybody go watch Scream, because that's great. It's going to hold up forever. It's going to be my favorite movie till the day I die. My favorite movie before this was Gremlins.
And mark it now, when Stu is a good guy in Scream 7, you heard it here first.
By the way, the mother from Gremlins is the same mother of Dewey and Tatum in Scream. So for whatever reason, this woman unlocks the 2 movies that I've in my life claimed to be my favorite movies of all time.
Interesting.
Yeah. She's the key. She's the key.
She's the mom now.
By the way, I'm not the only one who thought Dewey should have been the killer, because Scary Movie, it turns out the Dewey character is the killer.
Well, it's good that they agree with you.
Yes. All right. See you next week for Back to the Future. Do not miss that one. If you ever listened to one episode of this, then you listen to this one, and I guess you've used it up. See you later.